This is Alex bringing you a new episode of Gravity Blues, the podcast where myself and my co-host Ryan explore our Earth and extraterrestrial concerns and interests. I think today we're going to go a little bit shorter because the past few pods have been a little bit long, especially that Oscars recap. But we still have some a few things to talk about, especially with NFL free agency opening up
Yeah.
this past week.
Well,
It's been
before we jump into that,
crazy,
I know I
crazy.
didn't
Yeah.
even put this on the notes, so I'm throwing this
hmm
a big surprise here. But
I'm ready.
I was just thinking about St. Patrick's Day is this weekend.
hmm
Let's talk. Good, bad St. Patrick's Day traditions. What's the best? Do you even do anything? Do you believe in
I
putting the green shirt
honestly,
on, or what's your thing?
yeah, like I've actually never been to. I still have not been to a St. Patrick's Day parade.
Mm,
They have a big one in like downtown Cleveland, and I know in Dublin around Columbus
right.
that's one of the bigger ones. I'm assuming that's probably the biggest in Ohio. I'm not sure, but
And this is a
I would
totally
figure.
something that isn't real, but when I first came to Ohio State, people told me that the one in Dublin, Ohio, is bigger than the celebration in Dublin, uh, like Ireland.
Ireland.
And
Yeah, no,
I was
I
like,
feel
that
like I
can't be
heard that
true.
too.
But
But
people
yeah,
always
right,
used to say
right.
that, and I was like, all right, well, I'll believe it if enough people say it to me.
Yeah, but I will put on the green, and I will have some Guinness. So,
I know
um,
the thing is, drinking Guinness, right? It's when it's your go-to beer, is it anything special about St. Patrick's Day? It's like
no,
it's
no,
wholesome,
it's really just another day of drinking some beer.
classic day.
But it does feel a little bit, when you see, because I don't know, I know Guinness is a lot more popular now. It feels like, at
Hmm.
least with our generation, it's becoming like a really popular drink.
It's
And I
it's
think
the number
before,
one.
it kind of died off for a little while at
Yeah.
least, or maybe here in the States. I'm not sure, overseas, but yeah, it's really popular now. So I don't really know like
Have we talked about the
how.
shortage?
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
there's just
did.
like the
I think
shortage
we
in the
have.
UK. Yeah, not in the States though. We have plenty of canned Guinness. But I'm going
hmm
up to Chicago over the weekends, and they famously
hmm
do paint their river green for St. Patrick's Day. So that'll be weird to see in person. And I'm hoping that there will be a chance to go over to. There's a Guinness distillery there now, and supposedly it's very good. So I'm like, all right, let's try to get over there. I'm sure it'll be swamped this weekend of any weekends,
Yeah,
right? But it would be cool to check out if we have time.
yeah. Yeah, it'll probably be like a line. I know they have one. They have one there in Chicago. I think one in Boston, and
Mm.
I'm not sure where else they have them. But yeah, I have heard that Chicago distillery is pretty sweet. But I haven't yet checked it out yet. Yeah, I don't know what other traditions are there for St. Patty's Day.
Well,
Like,
if you don't wear the green, you get pinched. Are you a pincher?
yep. I don't like getting pinched, so I won't pinch someone. But
Oh,
if well, that's why I wear the green, and I don't
but
want to get that.
you
I don't
wouldn't
want to
pinch
be.
somebody else.
I don't think so, unless I knew them. I'm not just gonna be like walking around,
Mm.
just start
Like
pinching people.
that's
But
fair enough.
maybe if I was drunk enough, I might.
Yeah, you
If
still
I'm just
start
like at a
pinching
bar or something, I'm just like, whoop.
like a little crab.
So yeah. They should have little pinching little. You should bring like the little claw pincher
Yeah,
things or whatever.
the alligator clips, or whatever they're called.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Oh, also, yeah, I definitely will eat some like corned beef too. Like that. I feel like
Oh,
that's a go-to on St. Patty's Day.
yeah,
Um,
and every day.
big old, yeah, every day. Oh, I haven't had it in a while, but that's got to be one of
Same.
my favorite like deli kind of style. I guess you call it deli meat, right? Corned beef.
It can be, yeah. I like.
Yeah.
I've told you this before, but when I'm at a restaurant or a bar or something, and there's something on the menu that says like Irish breakfast or like the Irish blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I'm like, all right,
hmm
that's what I'm getting. I'll just get
Yep.
the Irish menu, the Irish food. It just sounds good to me. But
hmm
Yeah, hell yeah. There's so much good Irish food out there. I hope that I get to have some this weekend. But I just wanted to throw it out there because, got to celebrate the four-leaf clover holiday. You have any four-leaf clovers? You ever find any of those?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I've never really
Mm.
actively looked for them. So I
Oh,
probably have, but I just I'm already so lucky, you know.
right.
I
You
don't
don't
need
even need
the
it.
I don't need the extra luck. So, but
Have you found any clovers? I have India's poking her head in.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure she looks for them all the time while she's
Yeah.
going for walks and stuff.
Anyway, okay, let's jump back into NFL. I thought that was an important
Hmm.
sidestep that had to be addressed.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, we can talk the Browns first because they've been making interesting moves.
Hmm.
Number one, they re-signed Miles, which
Yeah.
which we thought he was gone.
Yeah. I don't. I'm happy. I'm happy he's still with the Browns, of course. But it they're just in such a weird spot right now because you have a player like that who you're spending $40 million a year on, and it's like, so are we rebuilding or what? Like, what's
Yeah,
the plan? 'Cause it's like you would expect if you're rebuilding, you'd want to
let that guy go.
probably trade that player away, gets a few first round picks if you can, and try and build from the ground up. But yeah, I don't know. And they just met with like Russell Wilson today
That's not
because
gonna happen.
oh well, yeah, I don't know. I think he's probably going to go to the Giants, but um, yeah, I don't know what their draft plans are because I'm just like, so are they going to go? Are they going to go QB at number two, or are they going to
Dude,
go
that
Abdul
no,
Carter
no, 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 no,
at
no,
two,
no,
and
no.
then go like Will Howard or
Don't
Jalen
stop.
Milrow in
Just
the
stop
second or third
this.
round?
I
What?
think number one, you have to go QB if you're the Browns. They can't. You know what I mean? Even if they have to take a swing on one of those guys, I know they're not like popular or like groundbreaking guys, but you have to go take somebody, and say,
Yeah,
we have a plan. If you don't take a QB, if you wait or and then like get a late round pick guy, or you bring in a Russell Wilson, it's literally the franchise saying, we have no plan. We don't know what we're doing. Like
yeah,
it doesn't. I don't know. It just seems it's a
yeah,
tough spot with Miles though because if you let him go or you trade him, yes, that's the smarter thing to do for the rebuild. But isn't he a hometown guy in Cleveland?
no, he's actually from Texas, I
Oh, okay.
believe.
Well,
He's
never.
from Texas,
But
yeah.
but
But
regardless,
um,
you there has to
yeah,
be you know uh, a star there and on that
yeah, that's
team.
true. No, yeah, I'm very happy that he stayed because it does give me someone to root for, and it's
Sure.
like I'm just like if say we trade him away, then it's just like all right, I literally have no hope at all for the next like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years until they're somewhat contending again. And I'm not saying him staying makes us a contender, but at least makes things games somewhat watchable, at least on
Yeah.
defense. So
Well,
um,
again, it's tough
yeah, I,
because if he leaves, there's no hope. But if when he stays, they're paying him way too much for what he's
yes,
going to do for the team. So
right,
I
right.
don't really love that, but it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. They have to take a QB though. They just
Yeah,
absolutely have
yeah.
to.
Well, I'll say this for because you're a Titans fan and they have the number one pick, and I right before free agency, their GM made some comments about we want to take the best talent or the generational player or something like that. So I'm like, does that mean they're going to go for the best QB or the best like all around player available? So I'm like, all right, I don't know who they're going to pick. But the free agency, they've been loading up on the offensive line. So that kind of makes me think that they're going to go probably Cam Ward at number one for the QB.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they have to take a QB also. Like
Yeah.
if they don't, I mean, I don't think we have any QBs in the building right now. Like not even a backup because Mason Rudolph went back to the Steelers.
You guys still have Levis though, right? Is that
Oh,
it?
I guess Levis is still there. He just I for
Yeah.
for
Hey, oh boy.
the back of the mind. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I guess he would have like one more year, right? Or or maybe two more. I
Yeah,
don't even
something.
know.
And he's probably still on a super cheap rookie contract, so
Yeah,
they'd
because
probably, keep him there.
yeah, okay, so we do have him still, but again, clearly you need somebody else. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a thing, and then like we don't really have any like weapons anymore. Some of the better defensive pieces have left this offseason. Like they let Harold Landry go, I think, to the Patriots, I think,
Hmm.
and he was very good with the Titans. And I
Hmm.
was like, really, we didn't get anything really for that. So really disappointed. There's not a lot of excitement going on for the Titans. We'll see when they do their number one pick, and then if I get excited about that, and we have a rookie again. But the thing is, I've lived the rookie quarterback before, and didn't go
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, I feel like it more times than not, it does not go very well. But you would expect with the number one pick, you know, have a better chance of that happening. And same with the Browns too. You have the number two pick.
Right.
If you draft a QB there, you're probably gonna have a better chance than, if you draft one in like the second or third round. And I think that's probably what they're gonna do is, with the second pick, if say Cam Ward is gone, Shador Sanders is next in line. So I think they'd go there. If they don't, yeah, probably like Abdul Carter at defensive end, and then yeah, maybe one of the other QBs in like the second round or third round. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they have two. It's only two options. There's only really two options they can't do unless they want to trade down, and who knows if that makes sense at all. But
I hope not. I think both of these teams need a fresh face to be the guy, the face of the franchise, and if you trade back and
mhm.
take a guy late in the round, it's the Titans did that 2 years in a row. They did with Will Levis, and the year before that they took Malik Willis in the second round, and or might have even been the third. But it's like neither of
Yeah,
those guys were that good, or even really Malik Willis barely played for the Titans, and yeah, so it's like it's tough, but what is
mhm.
exciting though? I love seeing former Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields headed to the Jets.
Yes.
The Jets, another team that needs a restart, but I'd say Justin Fields is the guy for that. That is a great pickup for them.
I actually really love that. I was really hoping he wasn't gonna stay with the Steelers again. Not because I was like, like he had a pretty good start. It felt like to last season, but it didn't seem like they really used him all too much. Like it was more just like all right, do as little as possible, and it's the Steelers, so they grind out these wins like 13-10. But him being matched up with Garrett Wilson again, Ohio State receiver. And then I was looking at their roster. They have such a young roster,
They have a great team.
at least offensive. Yeah.
It really comes down to the only reason they were bad is because Aaron Rodgers is old and can't play anymore, like and sucks. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And like if they had a better quarterback the last couple of years, they would have been very competitive, I think. And like
Yep.
so we'll see. Obviously they have new coaching, so like that could totally change everything, but it seems
Yeah.
like the guy gives me what's it what the Lions coach
Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Yeah, he
Dan
gives me
Campbell.
Dan Campbell vibes.
Yeah.
He's like
Those
very
vibes.
gritty, kind of hardcore guy, and I'm like, all right, I like a gritty Jets. That'd be kind of
I
sweet.
love I love stuff like that. Like it seems like the first 2 years, like you have a coach like that, it does not go very well. But by the time you build up that culture,
Yeah,
then it kind of all culminates together, and you start seeing winning football, or at least that's how the Lions have kind of done it. But I was talking about Justin Fields being a Steelers quarterback. The Browns
mm.
just got a former Steelers quarterback in a trade with the Eagles. Kenny Pickett is
Well,
now
no,
in Berea.
that would be Super Bowl winning. Can he pick it?
Exact. Yes. Mm-hmm. You're
So
right.
here's my question though. Let's say that the Browns do go take a QB with number two, regardless of
Yeah.
who it is, right? One of the two guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that Kenny Pickett starts the season as a QB, or do they start the rookie? And
I do think they're still going to get like a veteran QB. So like I mentioned Russell Wilson, but I don't think they're gonna get Russell Wilson.
Ooh,
But
you don't
some
think Pickett
Joe
would be
Flacco still there.
you don't think Pickett would be that
No, I
veteran?
well they did tell him no, I don't think so. At least I don't think he's enough of a veteran, but they did say he's gonna like I don't see him starting game one,
Mm.
but I could see him starting sometime in the season, I guess. But they told him that they're going to give him the opportunity for the starting job. So yeah, I don't know. When he was with the Steelers, I did give him a lot of hate just because he's a Steelers quarterback and he didn't wasn't doing very well with them. But we've kind of seen how they've managed QBs the past few years since Ben Roethlisberger retired. So maybe he just needed a fresh start, and like he wasn't really playing at all for the Eagles, but he did play one game, and I think the Eagles still won. So
Yeah, he
I
had a
think
couple
he
good
has
games while he
some
was
talent.
in Pittsburgh too, so it wasn't all terrible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think he
yeah,
was
and he had
okay.
Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator, who's terrible. So
Will this be his like fifth year now, or is he going into his sixth?
I think he's going into his
Fifth?
fifth or fourth. It might be his fourth
Because
actually. Like he hasn't been in the league very long.
how long was he in Pittsburgh? He was probably there 3 years, right?
Let's see.
So this would be fifth.
What
I don't know. It's a tough you know thing to decide right now because you don't know who the other guy's gonna be. I would be really surprised
Mhm.
though if they go get like a Joe Flacco and say Joe Flacco's gonna be our starter, and then because if you do that, you don't move from Joe Flacco as the starter to Kenny Pickett as the backup. The backup's then the
You go to
rookie.
the
You
you go to
know.
the rookie, yeah. But I don't know. The Browns at least have seen a lot of bad injury luck with their QBs. So who knows if Joe Flacco, who's I think he's 40 now, or going to be 40 soon. Like say you get hit someone like him, or
True.
even like who knows if what Kirk Cousins is going to be available. I'm not sure
Oh
with
my
what
God.
Atlanta's doing with all that. But yeah, it's the options are not great, but I personally, if I had to pick, I'd rather see Joe Flacco come back just because he knows the system and we saw him do well,
He
and I'm
was
not
terrible
going to be
last year.
asking a lot from him.
It
Oh
was
yeah, with the
terrible with the
Colts,
Colts.
yeah,
So it's
I
really
blame
tough.
Anthony Richardson.
Well, and Anthony Richardson's also terrible. It looks like they're moving
Yeah,
on from him, right? They was it Daniel Jones that went there to the
yeah,
Colts?
him and Daniel Jones are going to be battling it out.
That is the craziest QB duo ever, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, Colts are kind of like in the same. It feels like they're kind of in the same spot as the Titans and the
I
and the
don't
Browns
know
right now. It's
because
like it doesn't feel
they
feel
don't have
very.
like anything good going for them, I feel like. And I'm a hater on their team, but I'm like
Yeah, yeah.
I would not be surprised if they have another bad season, fire the coach this year. They should have fired the coach last year. But
Yeah, I don't even know what draft pick they have in this year's draft. I don't think it's high, or at
I
least
don't
like,
know.
or maybe they don't even have the draft pick. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Um,
But yeah, it's like a tough and all of their like stars from previous seasons have kind of faded or been traded away. So it's kind of like
yeah,
who's the guy now? I mean, JT's not that good anymore.
yeah. He also is pretty. He had that one breakout
Yeah,
season,
and then he
but
got
kept
hurt.
getting injured, and
Yep.
then he hasn't been the same. But yeah, it's been kind of a crazy start to free agency, but it seems like it's definitely dying down a little bit. So
Yeah, I
um,
just listening to stuff today about the only big. I mean, obviously there's Russ, but he seems old. And then people are like, the only thing left to fall is where will Aaron Rodgers go? It's like I hate Aaron Rodgers, dude. Can we move on from this
he
guy?
just
Like,
I kind of hope he goes with the Steelers because I feel like he's the QB to like just tank their season. At least we
absolutely.
saw it with the Jets last year, and as a Browns fan, that
You
make
know
me
what though?
very happy to see them have a under 500 season.
I could see him have like a decent year with them, just because like he's in his old man phase, and I feel like the Steelers with an old man quarterback, and it might just be because of Big Ben, but I'm like Steelers with a
Yeah,
big old quarterback is like kind of works, Like it is.
yeah,
That's why
yeah, and they got DK.
Yeah,
They
they
got
yeah.
just got DK too, so yeah, it's it. That'd be an interesting season for them as well. Um,
But anyway,
but yeah, they're
we
kind
could
of in
come back to
QB
this.
hell.
Yeah, we can come back to the NFL stuff obviously as free
Sure.
agencies and the draft stuff goes on. Let's jump to movies real quick. Because I know you were just saying that you saw something this last week.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I saw this past weekend. I saw Mickey 17, and then yeah, a few weekends ago, I also saw the Monkey.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
um, but yeah, I guess I'll talk about the Monkey really quick. I believe the director's name Osgood Perkins.
Oscar
He's
Perkins.
the
Yep.
director. Yeah, he's the director of Longlegs from last year, which I really liked. But this was totally different. This was actually is a very gory
Mm-hmm.
movie, but it's also very funny. With like how gruesome and like in creative, I guess some of the deaths were. But yeah, pretty much the premise is it's this wind up monkey toy that is evil, and when you wind it up, it kills a
Mm.
random person in a crazy way. Um, and it's these two brothers, twin brothers, are kind of stuck with it, and the one brother is has a son, and he kind of distances himself away from his son because he doesn't want his son to be involved with this monkey, because he just feels like if he's in his son's life, it's going to come back. Because they, like, when they were younger, they like put it down a well, and they were like, all right, hopefully it doesn't come back, but it always comes back and can't be like destroyed or anything. Like they try like crushing it and setting it on fire, and
Is
it's just this evil
okay.
demonic monkey toy.
Why is like there just this genre of horror movies that is like the evil toy, and it's like there's so
Yes,
many of those movies that are like
that's true. I will say that I'm not going to say it pokes fun at that genre, but it
okay,
does give it like more of a like comedy spin, which I
okay,
really like enjoyed, because it wasn't like jump scares. It was more like how are we going to make this the most creative, funny death you're
mm,
gonna see, kind of thing. So, but yeah, it was very like it was just like I was laughing like throughout the whole movie. So it wasn't anything like, I guess it wasn't as like, I really liked Long Legs, and I was very impressed by the kind of the style of that movie. But
mm,
this was more just like, I'm gonna go and have fun, and that was also kind of how I felt about Mickey 17 too, which totally different, style of movies, more of a sci-fi,
mm,
um, an exploration, film from Bong Joon-ho, which I've liked a lot of his films in the past. Um, we had Snowpiercer, like Parasite,
mm.
a few others too that I really liked. There's you haven't seen it, right?
Nope.
No. So Robert Pattinson is the main character in this film, and he's
He's doing a weird voice too, right? Like it's like a
yes. Well, so here's the thing. So yeah, he goes on this, kind of this space mission, and he signs up as pretty much, he's like an expendable crew member, um, but when in the sense where they have this machine, which is like kind of like a cloning machine. So whenever he dies doing like
mm-hmm,
a task for the mission, they just reprint him out, and he has all the stuff. Like, it's not like a new clone where it's like this clone has no memory from the past. This clone knows everything that just happened and how they died, um and yeah, it's just kind of reloaded and just a new Mickey. And you start off the movie, you're on the 17th Mickey, so
mm-hmm,
he's done like 16 of these like different like kind of missions. Like, one was like they sent him like outside the spaceship, and they were like they do have him do all these crazy things. Like, they were like testing how like the radiation poisoning like affects his body, and
mm,
or the other one, when they land on the planet they're going to, they have him like take off his helmet and like breathe in the air to like uh, see if there's like a virus in the air, which there is. So they keep doing it until they get like a vaccine. So whenever any of the other crew members go on the planet, they won't like die
Mm.
from this, airborne virus. And there's another species on the planet too that kind of look like tardigrades, the
Oh,
like
cool.
super microscopic organisms. And
Yeah.
um, but so they have, so that's like kind of the main I guess setting of the film. But on this ship, it's kind of run by this politician played by Mark Ruffalo, and I'll just say he's just space Trump.
Mm.
Like, does all the Trump mannerisms and talks like Trump. There's one scene where he's like briefing the crew, and like they start like cheering for him and applauding him, and he starts to do the like little Trump dance thing. So it's very on the nose, which I could definitely see some people being turned off by that. And I will say, like, there were some parts I'm like, all right, let's be a little more subtle about it. But it was very, there were some parts that were pretty funny with him. Um and yeah, and then so he's kind of leading this whole thing, and he wants to, it's a lot of it's like space imperialism too, with these like organisms on the planet, where it's like we have to colonize this planet. And all these beings on this planet right now are aliens, even though like technically we're the aliens to them, because this is their planet and we're just trying to take it over. So there's that. And then the main, I guess, conflict is that in Mickey 17, the 17th Mickey, he doesn't die, and they
Mm-hmm.
thought he dies. So they print out a new Mickey, Mickey 18. So there's these two Mickeys, and this new Mickey, each Mickey has a different person. Or not each one, but some of the Mickeys have different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you mentioned, he had a weird voice. So he's a very like Mickey 17 has the weird voice, and he's very like kind of shy and isn't very outgoing. But Mickey 18 is like the complete opposite. So you have like these scenes where it's just Robert Pattinson and Robert Pattinson, and they're playing two different characters, kind of like Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the best parts of the movie by far. And that was my one criticism. I wish there were more scenes between
Where
those two,
the
because
yeah.
every time, yeah, they have like a dialogue between each other. It's just very, very entertaining. And I'm like, wow, this is a very good performance from
Yeah.
Robert.
So it's Patterson putting on the chops, like showing what he can do.
Yes, yeah, yeah, he did a good job. But yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like I said, it's a very entertaining movie, but in terms of like sci-fi, like doesn't really. It seems like it's more focused kind of on the social commentary
Mm-hmm.
of
Well, it's
like
Bong Joon-ho, right?
politic. Yeah, right, right, exactly. So it's like you have the setting, and you got like I said, politicians, and then also you have religion too, because they have these like religious missionary on the flight or on the ship too, kind of like advising
Mm-hmm.
Mark Ruffalo's character. So you kind of get that like like if you were going to do interstellar travel, like how religion would be tied into that too, and their motives. um but it all kind of seems like the motives for both the politicians and the religious figures in this is just like, how are we gonna give us the best, like most monetary gain and most
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So
It's interesting.
um
I do want to
yeah,
watch it.
so
Did you like it?
I liked it. No, I liked it. And yeah, I went into it, like I seen the trailers, but I wasn't sure exactly what to
Mm-hmm.
expect. But I liked it. I guess I didn't like it as much as I was like hoping I liked it,
Yeah.
because I'm like, you got Robert Pattinson, who and I thought he was awesome in the movie, but maybe just like there were like, yeah, like I mentioned, I wish there was more of him and his multiple. And I thought the commentary was okay, but yeah, like I said, I think it was a little too on the nose at
Yeah.
sometimes. Like they could have been a little more subtle, but he got his point. He got his point across. So I guess I can't blame Bong Joon-ho
Yeah.
for not giving you something to think about.
And he has all of his movies are pretty commentary heavy, which
Hmm.
that's to be expected. But I saw a really cool. I haven't seen the movie yet, obviously, but I did see a cool like how they filmed this thing where they're talking about how the snow planet that they go to, it's not snow. They use salt, so they filled a
Mm.
room with salt, and it like looks like snow on the ground, and you can hear it crunching and stuff, and it's all real salt that they used in this on the soundstage. And they were like, yeah, it's crazy. They like opened the roof so real snow was falling in, but it was salt on the ground,
Hmm.
and it was like
That's cool.
because apparently people were complaining and saying, well, what it doesn't really like look like snow in the way that it's moving because it's grainy. And they were like, well, it's not, it's salt. And then on this planet, it could be
Mm.
salt, right? They don't ever go into it. But it's like, that's cool.
They don't really
When
talk
you're
about
doing
it too much.
sci-fi,
Yeah.
you can lean into that kind of stuff and make it fun, which I like. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. The Monkey 2,
Hmm.
I will have to check out. I'm not usually a big horror guy, but you're saying it's funny, and
It's
so
more, yeah, I'd say it's more like definitely be ready to see some gory deaths, but
yeah.
it definitely is more of a funny kind
Is
of
it
like
like
it's not.
Happy Tree Friends gory? Like what are we talking? Like where the people are sitting there like
Yeah,
chopping the body parts up and they're going, oh
yeah.
yeah.
There's a scene where he's in the house with this like realtor, and let's just say uh, a shotgun is in this house and
Mm,
goes off at the realtor, and the realtor just explodes into pieces
okay.
and covers it. It's just
Nice.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
but if you go into it expecting it's more of a, I don't know. That's kind of what I expect. I'm like, all right, I know what to,
Yeah.
or at least what I heard was like, yeah, this is very, very, very. It's a
Gory but
funny
fun.
movie if you get past the gore. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good sounds like a good start to 2025. I think the monkey was no, it was 2025 also, right? So, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, it came out in January.
good
Yeah, I
start
think.
for the year then so far. Let's jump ahead. Let's get on our
Mhm.
spaceships and
Hmm.
rocket out of the atmosphere and do some space talk. You know,
Yes.
one day,
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
have sound effects there with like explosions on the screen. It'll be sweet.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, yeah. Hopefully, the explosions are just on the screen and not
Oh,
our
I
actual
see what you did
rocket.
there, like
So,
SpaceX.
yeah.
Again,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, like we were just talking in before the pod started, the last few rockets they've sent up have exploded, and then they delayed a launch with a crew on it. Right? That's supposed to be today.
Yeah. Yeah. Going up to the ISS. Yeah. This launch was going to be on the like the Falcon, the Falcon Heavy, or I can't remember
Mm,
which version of the Falcon they were going. But definitely a more like they've sent crews up to the ISS on this rocket before, but yeah, and then all the explosions have been with like the Starship launches, but they can't even get the Falcons to work, and usually there are delays, but it was just like seemed like perfect timing for this flight also um, to get to have the same kind of treatment as the others, but
yeah,
and then also there's been, I think I've seen stuff about like Tesla, like vandalism towards like like I don't know if it's like Tesla plants, or I've seen like a few things that just like a lot of Elon's
yeah. Well, so there,
things are not going well.
so people are upset with Elon right now, as you might expect,
Yeah.
and the Tesla stock is plummeting, and people are like protesting at the Tesla dealerships. And I saw there's a big there's a one of the biggest like dealership owners, so they're like franchise owners kind of thing. The guy was like he has like 50 something dealerships, and he's like like Elon, figure this out because people are like destroying the stock, so and
Mm-hmm.
that is going to ruin, and I when I said stock there I mean like the cars, but that is also going to ruin the financial stock. So yeah, really
Yeah.
really tough situation for that company, and to be connected to Elon right now is not a good look. And that probably is the same I expect at SpaceX, where I
Yeah.
feel like they've kind of distanced themselves from him for most of the time, but I feel like probably I mean, what do you have you heard that there are people there that are upset about stuff that are like, is there?
I'm I'm sure there are, but yeah, I don't know. I've heard things though in the past. It's like people who work there, I think, and you can't really, can't really publicly go out and say something negative. Like I guess like about any, if you're in any company, it's
Yeah.
probably not a good idea to like go out and publicly say you're against the person running
Well,
it.
that I know, but so right now I feel like it's tough because if you're in that job, right, where you're like working on rocket ships, right? And
Mhm.
you're like, well, I can leave this job and go work somewhere else. Well, the NASA isn't having a fun time right now. They're probably not out there hiring
Nope.
all the SpaceX people. So it
Yeah,
it is
you
kind
kind of feel
of
trapped if you're there.
that's what I'm saying, right? So I'm sure that some of those people are panicking or you know nervous at least about what's going on. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, the only other place I could think of is like, yeah, you could look at going to like Blue Origin, because they've
yeah,
at least have been able to be a little more
or
successful in their
Virgin,
launches recently. But yeah, Virgin Galactic, like there's other launch companies, but SpaceX definitely is the busiest one, and
right?
pumping out the most launches per year. So like if you can move past the fact of everything that's going on with Elon, then maybe it's not so bad a place to work. But I'm sure there's people there currently that aren't very happy with everything going on.
You know what is so scary to me is I know we talked a lot about the satellites they have that are then there's like thousands of these satellites they have,
Yeah,
and
the Starlink. Yeah.
so on average per day there's been more than 100 entering the atmosphere and burning up because that's part of their planned obsolescence. Like they stop working and then they like are designed to fall into the earth's and burn up in the atmosphere. But it's like that's
Hmm.
so frightening that they're just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna allow hundreds of our, this is on a day, like a daily basis,
Yeah.
where they're like, yeah, we're just allowing our fancy satellites to fall into wherever they land, and it's like, yes, they do probably all burn up, but there's been a lot of sightings of like the comets and stuff that fly over. A lot of them are like the bigger satellites that come in and burn up in the atmosphere. And people have them on video and freak out, and it's like, yeah, it's like,
Even with I guess those aren't too much of a worry. Like you're looking up in the sky and you're like, oh
yeah,
crap, this is going to come down and hit us. But with their actual starship
well,
explosions,
true,
people have found like debris and remnants, not just landing in the ocean, just landing in
yeah,
forests and areas of the world. It's like that just if an inch of that hits you, you're no more,
yeah.
and that's really scary to think about. And like, yeah, that could happen with like a plane too, you never know what's going to happen, but
Yeah, but
um,
the amount of planes that don't explode versus
right.
the
No, yeah,
right.
exactly.
So,
Well, recently though,
well, yes, but
that's
still,
another thing,
percentage wise, right?
related.
But yeah,
Hmm.
but there's been a lot of stuff about that in the news. But yeah, it's crazy how much like in that field, it's just like, oh yeah, stuff blows up, but also like that it can be really dangerous too. So it's like, it got to be balanced there, right? But
I'll just say if I was in that crew, the astronaut crew, I would be very, and like I said, the Falcons are very reliable, and it's not like the Starship where they're still kind of testing that out, and seems like a very tricky thing to perfect because they're not going to want to send people up before it's perfected. But and like I said, Falcon is perfected, but you still with everything that's gone on recently, I'll be a little worried. But that's the risk you're going to take whenever you want to go up into space, and yeah, like anything, like when you go drive to work in the morning, you're taking a risk there. There's always going to be risks, but definitely a little bit higher in a you know
yeah,
in a rocket going into space.
well, yeah, and it's just also, the amount of money that goes into these things for them to go and just blow up. it seems crazy, incomprehensible to me for real. But
Yeah.
yeah, very scary.
Uh,
I'm glad I don't
yep.
live near launch pads. But uh,
Mm-hmm.
anything else you want to hit? I know there's like a blood moon tonight. It's like a
Yeah.
lunar eclipse, but I
Yeah, I'm
don't.
gonna be. I gotta get a telescope. That's one thing I want to
Yeah,
get.
it's
Is
at like
I
two
want to get a
a.m.
telescope.
So I don't think I'm
Ooh, I
gonna
don't know
see
if I'll be
that.
up for that.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it's like hypothetically I could just go up on the roof and see if I see it, but it is also it's like only if it's cloud like a clear sky. But you will be able to see it across
Mhm.
the whole U.S. if you have clear skies. But I was looking at reports saying that basically only the West Coast is going to be clear tonight. Everywhere else is going to have clouds just because of the way the weather's been. So
Mm,
it's like, probably not going to be able to see it, but it sounds like a cool thing. It's going to be, you got the big red, because of the way that the light bends around the Earth. But
mhm,
cool thing. But with that, I think we can wrap it up. We did manage to keep this one shorter a little bit, so I'm
mhm.
happy with
Yeah.
that. But
Progress. Progress.
all the info stuff will be in the show notes. Follow the YouTube and the Instagram. Alex is
Yeah.
putting out awesome music stuff, so and you can check
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
his
I got.
his recommendations from each month. It's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got February's coming out. Hopefully sometime this weekend, and
Sweet.
yeah. So hopefully pay attention to that if you wanna if you missed out on some good music from last month.
Hell yeah. Well, and with that, we'll say thanks for listening and cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.